everybody! Thanks so much for stopping by the homestead. My name is Sarah from Living Traditions Homestead, and today we are kicking off our new series on meat rabbits. Our first video in this series will begin with breeding meat rabbits, and there's a lot of information to go over when we're talking about meat rabbits. The first thing that I want to talk with you about is when to start breeding your rabbits, and the age is really important as far as the does go, the females. We have found that the best age to start breeding your does is at 4 months. So 16 weeks to 18 weeks is when we start breeding ours. In the past, we have waited as late as 6 months or even a little bit later, and the reason you want to start breeding earlier is to increase the litter size. For whatever reason, the longer you wait in breeding your does for the very first time, the smaller the litter size, and we need to maximize production here, raising meat on the homestead. When it comes to the male rabbits though, I have found that they mature a little bit later. They don't seem to get down to business and figure out what they're doing until about 6 months. So the does start at about 4 months, 16 to 18 weeks, no later than starting at 6 months. And with the bucks, 6 months is a good time to start using them as breeders. Okay, so we've talked about at what age to start breeding. Now let's talk about who can breed with who. Can mother and father, sister and brother? Those are all questions that everybody thinks about at some point. The first thing I want to say is when you're breeding meat rabbits just to eat the meat, you don't really have to worry about it as much as if you were doing show quality or some professional breeding stock. So the main thing to remember is that litter mates cannot breed together. So if you're picking out rabbits to breed, you need to make sure that you're just not picking immediate sister and brother who came from the same mom at the same time, the same litter. If you do that, you'll be safe and don't have to worry about it. So anything else is pretty much okay. Everything else is okay as long as you're not breeding immediate litter mates. After you have been breeding for a while and you've been raising rabbits for a while, at some point it's time for you to retire your first breeders and move on to some new breeders. On our farm, that is sometime between 1 year and 2 years, depending on how well the does are doing. When you're looking for new breeders, there are some things that you want to consider. You want to consider the history of the litter size, how well the moms have done in the past, and you want to pick new does from your previous breeders that had very healthy babies, that had big litters, and mamas who made good nests and who took really good care of their babies. Those are where you want to grab out some new does and raise them up for your new breeding stock. Okay, this mama is the rabbit that we need to rebreed today. She has babies with her right now that are about 2 or 3 weeks old. Even though she has babies with her right now, I need to rebreed her. On our homestead, we rebreed when the babies are 2 to 3 weeks old, so that number one, the mama has time to recuperate after she gives birth. Her body can go back to normal and get ready to be pregnant again. And then on the other end, after I take the babies out and wean them, she has a couple of weeks to get ready to have babies again. Her milk can dry up, she can build a new nest, she can relax a little bit, and then get ready to have babies again. When you are breeding, when you're actually doing the breeding, you have to take the female to the male. Obviously in this situation, it would be a terrible idea to put a male in here with all of these baby bunnies and they're running around trying to breed. It would be a mess. Your very first time though, or if there aren't any babies in here, the primary reason you want to take the female to the male is so that the male can get down to business. If you take him into the female's cage area, he's going to be interested in sniffing around and sniffing all over the place, and are there more females around here, and things like that. So we need him to get down to business. So we're going to take the female to the male. This is the male rabbit that we have for our breeding stock. Males are called a buck. So we have 1 buck for 5 females. But you really only need 1 buck for a lot of females. The rabbits can breed once a day. So technically you could probably have, 1 buck for 30 does. I would suggest, however, if you get above, 7 does, to have a backup buck, just in case something were to happen. So we're going to use him for breeding today. We're going to bring a female over and show you what it looks like for rabbits breeding. What you'll see is, you'll see the buck go after the female, and they might run around a little bit, and then you'll see him mount her, and then when he is successful, he will kind of fall off. It's important for you to allow that process to happen at least 3 times in one breeding. What I typically do is put the female in there, watch until I see it happen a couple of times, and then I go about my day for about an hour. And then I come back and take the female out and put her back in with her babies. I have found that to be successful, and that's fine. And then I'm not just standing around watching it all day long. So I'm gonna grab a doe and put her in with him, and you'll be able to see the process. So this is pretty typical. He's smelling her to make sure he likes her. I know he likes her. He's liked her before. That was a successful breeding. That was the second successful breeding. And the third time sometimes takes a little bit longer. She's definitely receptive when she lays down, and she'll kind of lift up a little bit to allow him to do what he needs to do. But generally at this point is when I just leave for an hour and come back, and I know that there's been 2 successful breedings, and within an hour he had to have done it another time, and we just move on from there. In our intro video, you probably saw that we finish our rabbits out in rabbit tractors where they have access to fresh grass every single day. So why don't we breed on the ground? Well, that is a very good question, and there are a few reasons. We are able to keep our breeding stock safer from predators within the barn, up off the ground. It is a much more controlled environment from weather for them in here. They're not getting rained on. There's, less risk for a lot of wind and just inclement weather in general. And when the babies are born, having them up off the ground and inside one of our barns is just overall safer for them. So that is it for this episode of our Meat Rabbit series, talking about breeding, and we're so glad that you came along, and we're going to have a lot of great information coming up on our future rabbit breeding or meat rabbit videos, so keep with us. If you enjoyed this video, do us a favor and give us a thumbs up. If you have questions or comments about what we're doing here with our meat rabbits, comment down below. And overall, if you like what we're doing and want to follow us, we would sure appreciate for you to subscribe to our channel by pressing the subscribe button. But until next time, you guys take care, okay? And God bless.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by the homestead today. We do truly appreciate every one of you for wanting to be part of our lives. We're now going to be putting out 5 new videos every week, Monday through Friday. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. Also, don't forget to check out the videos over here on the side. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time back on the homestead. God bless.